It may be the year of the horse, but our next guest is definitely a bull. I want to bring in Simpler Trading VP of Options, Danielle Shay. Danielle, it's great to see you. And what are you seeing in the markets as we begin the new year?
I think the markets look great here. We have the indexes consolidating and we're getting ready for a big breakout ahead of earnings season. But more than anything, I think that this is a stock pickers market. So I'm continuing to focus on picking individual names along with being bullish the indexes.
All right, so let's get into some of these picks then, because in particular, AI memory stocks have been soaring. The CEO of NVIDIA said earlier this week that the bottleneck in memory is actually severe. Pretty strong word coming from him. So when you look at that landscape, do you think that names like, say, Micron or SanDisk, maybe Western Digital, are overvalued right now?
If you're already in these names, it's looking good for you, right? But I would not advise anyone to buy them now because they're so extended. They've already been on a massive run. And so if you're looking to get into these names, it would be much better to wait for an entry. Perhaps 10, 20% pullback. At that point, you're going to have a much better edge.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Oh, of course. If you look at the quantum computing names, this is very similar to what happened last year. And so we have a lot of people that get into these names at the very end of the run, and it's really unfortunate. So I always try to tell people, you know, when you've seen names like this go on a massive run, you want to wait for a pullback to get a better entry for yourself.
All right. Okay. Well, it's certainly something to watch, and volatility is something that many of our guests have said is kind of going to be on the table for the month of January anyway. You know, a lot of our viewers always want to know, what stocks can I buy on the dip? So can you give us a list of stocks that are down but are at this point are good for another reentry, and something maybe that's kind of current for the month?
Definitely. So I like to look for stocks that are hot, that have continued increase in EPS estimates and growth, but they've pulled back 10 to 20% and they still have a long way to run. So a couple of those names are names that we liked last year, like IonQ, Nebis, Iron, and QBTS. These names all fit that criteria, and I think that they're great right now for pullback buy entries.
All right, yeah, we've got those on our screen. There's D-Wave for you. I think it's interesting that the quantum names are in your purview right now. The issue of short squeezes. These were some of your biggest winners last year. This year, they are taking off again. So give us some of the names that are potentially on the radar for you for your short squeeze list.
Well, I really like Lemonade right here. You know, this ticker has pulled back. It's in consolidation. It's near previous highs, and it also has high short float, and it has earnings coming up. So that can be a catalyst. So I like that one. I also like Carvana. PL looks really good. RCAT is something that I'm trading right now. So all of these names definitely are favorable for me, but I think my favorite here is Reddit. This one is already breaking out, and it's getting really close to previous highs.
Yeah, well, I was the PL Planet Labs, and then also Lemonade, the insurance play, which is something that I thought was pretty interesting from you. So let's talk about some technical bullish setups. Do you have some names for us for that?
Yes, definitely. So for this setup, what I like to do is look at weekly chart patterns, pullback consolidation buys, and Palantir is actually one of my favorites. This one was really hot last year, but again, I don't like to buy stocks when they're really hot and they're at their highs. I like to buy them when they've pulled back and they're consolidating. Okay. I also like Cloudflare right here. That looks really good. Affirm and Snow. These are some of my favorites right now.
We're looking at Snowflake right now. Ticker is Snow, 224.74. A little bit of a dip today. Real quick before you go, a lot of your on-air picks that you've made recently on this show are doing pretty well, and some of the bigger names you've given Charles Alphabet, Amazon, Symbiotic. Are you still holding on to these names? And a bigger question, would you add to these names if we do see some volatility soon?
With SYM, yes, I actually did just add to that recently because that one still has a lot more room to run. Amazon, definitely a lot more room to run. Google, I love it here. However, it's at new highs. So I don't ever want to add a stock when it's all the way at a new high. I would prefer to wait for a pullback. But all of these names look great, and they're some of my favorite names this month.
What kind of pullback would you say here? 5%, 10%? I mean, how extreme does the pullback need to be?
It just depends how aggressive you are. When I'm trading, I only need about a 5% pullback because I'm a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the trading side. But if you're a longer term investor, you know, 10% is going to be more favorable, 15% is better, 20% is even better. But as you know, those pullbacks may never appear. So it just depends how aggressive you are with your trading and your investing style. and what kind of entry points you're looking for with your personal portfolio.
Yeah, or if you're cheap like me. Danielle, it's good to see you. Really appreciate you being with me. I appreciate it, your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we have got to take